Hello, Elly here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Welcome to this bedtime yoga for calm flow. So yes, as the title says, this is a good flow for doing, for winding down, getting ready for perhaps bed or in the evening at some point. Of course, if you feel the need to do this at other times throughout the day, you absolutely can. So I would grab a blanket, anything you need to feel comfortable to hand, any layers. And as always, blocks definitely recommended as well, any blocks or props that you need in your practice to support you. So we will get ready and get started. So today we're going to start with a little bit of grounding into the practice. So come into a comfortable seated position. So that could be crossed legs, that could be legs out the front. And we're going to bring the hands to the knees and come into your neutral spine position. So if you need to pop a block under the hips to come and find that space through the spine, and take that now. And when you're ready, start to either close off the eyes or take a steady gaze out in front of you. Taking some deep, long breaths without forcing anything. So trying not to strain with the breath, but allowing the breath to flow as freely as you can. Working with some equal breathing here, connecting us to our parasympathetic nervous system. So perhaps inhaling for 4 counts, exhaling for 4 counts, or maybe 6 or 8 or 10, depending on what works for you. And as you do this, observe where you can feel the breath in your body. And relax your neck, your shoulders. Let your shoulder blades run down your spine. Open the eyes back up if you had them closed. Take a couple of big shoulder rolls here. And start to bring the knees in towards the chest and hug those knees in towards your body. If it feels good to, take a gentle rock from side to side here. And then meet in stillness, hugging those knees in, an option to drop the head and bring your head down towards the knees, rounding through the spine here. Notice how the back of the neck feels as you do this, how the spine feels. And lift the head back up. Keep this left arm wrapped around the legs. Bring your right arm around behind you to support you. Inhale, lift it up and out of the waist, and on the exhale, twist over to the right. Allowing your gaze to follow, coming over the right shoulder or in that direction. And hugging these knees in as you twist. On every inhale, lifting up and out of the waist, and on the exhale, releasing, letting go. You can close off the eyes here if that feels good to. And release. Well done. Bring the right hand around the legs this time, hugging them in. Bring the left arm to the mat behind you. Inhale, lift up and out of the waist. Exhale, twist over to the left this time. Sending your gaze in the direction of bringing over the left shoulder. On every inhale, keep lifting and lengthening, and on the exhale, surrendering your body, your mind into the twist. Perhaps feeling a sense of being held or supported. And release from the twist. And from here, we'll start to send the legs out in front. Find your neutral spine in Dandasana. So flex through the feet, lengthening through the legs. Reach the crown of your head to the ceiling. And on the exhale, walk your hands forwards, leading with the chest, coming into Paschimottanasana. Hands either coming to the thighs or the shins, or maybe the feet, keeping the space through the spine, leading with your chest. On every inhale, keep lifting and lengthening. On the exhale, releasing and observing any thoughts coming into your mind. Accepting those thoughts and understanding that those thoughts are created by the thinking mind. And you can allow those thoughts to come and go. There's no right or wrong. Inhale, start to come up from the fold now. And either keeping the legs here stretched out in front, if that's comfortable. If not, you could cross the legs over here instead. We're going to place the right arm to the side, so fingertips coming to the mat. And then we're going to inhale and sweep your left arm up towards your left ear. Lift your ribs away from the hips first. And then on the exhale, stretch over to the right. So feeling the left side body opening up. Trying to keep some light engagement through the legs here if you're having them lengthened in front, flexing the feet. But no worries if you're crossing the legs here, that's absolutely fine too. And release the left arm down. Bring the left fingertips to the left side of your body. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Lift your ribs away from the hips first. Exhale, stretch over to the left. Right side body opening up this time. Keeping the legs switched on here if you can. And release back to neutral when you're ready. And then we're going to bring the feet round and start to make your way into your child's pose. So either coming into a narrow leg child's pose, so with the knees and legs together, or you could be coming into a wide leg child's pose here, which will be bringing the knees out to the side and then sitting the hips back towards the heels. Just an option. For some of us, this wide leg child's pose will feel more comfortable, and for some of us, it won't. So take the option that feels right for you. Remembering that if you're finding there's lots of space between your hips and your heels, you could have a blanket popped under there. You could have potentially blocks. Maybe you're in your narrow leg child's pose and you want a block here to fill that space. And The reason we're doing this is because we want to allow the body to become restful and passive within your child's pose. This is a restorative pose. This is a resting place, a place to be still and listen to the breath. So take anything that you need to make it that restorative place for you. So sinking your heart and your forehead down to the mat and breathing here. Allowing any thoughts of what's happened before this practice, or anything that's lined up for after this practice. Allowing yourself to detach from those thoughts and just be in this present moment. Asking yourself the question, do I have anything to do or any problems right now in this moment, here and now, on my mat, in this child's pose? Do I have a problem? This is something that I read in the Power of Now book by Eckhart Tolle, and it really stuck with me. Notice where you can feel the breath here, maybe in the side body, maybe in the back body. Perhaps you can feel your chest rising and falling with the breath. Starting to come up from your child's pose, so coming through a tabletop position. Tuck the toes under, bring those feet in. You can bring the hands away from the mat to get here and hang down in a standing forward fold on your mat. So allowing the hands to come to the elbows if that feels comfortable, taking as much bend through the legs as you need to, feet roughly hip width apart. Bring the weight forward through the balls of your feet, through the mound of your big toe. Relax the head and the neck. Release the hands from the elbows, and from here we're going to make our way into a halfway lift. So find your way to this halfway point between forward fold and Dandasana, mountain pose, so standing. So really finding the length through the spine, maybe the hands coming to the shins, the thighs, maybe the fingertips are reaching the mat. Exhale, forward fold, soften the knees as much as you need to. And then on the inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky, grow your spine tall here. Exhale, hands through heart center. Grounding the feet into the mat. Inhale, sweep your arms back up to the sky, lift your ribs away from your hips. Hinge at the hips. Forward fold. Soften the knees as much as you need to. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, float the hands down to the mat, step the feet back, drop the knees straight down and lower the body down onto your front so you're lying on your belly. Inhale, roll your shoulders and lift your chest away from the mat, coming into cobra or finding your sphinx position here. Elbows under the shoulders, palms of the hands on the mat. Light engagement through the lower body and the glutes to support your spine. Keep sending the gaze out in front of you. You're tempted to bring the gaze down or round the spine here. Keep thinking about finding a spot in front of you to really focus on, bringing your gaze as you open across the chest. Keep thinking about space across the chest. Come back to your breath, your inhales and your exhales. And lower the body down to the mat. Bring the elbows out to the side and you can rest your head on your hands for a moment. Let the body become relaxed and heavy on the mat. Surrender your full body weight to the earth below you. Notice which parts of your body are connected to the mat. And then from here, when you're ready, making your way into a lying position on your back. Doesn't matter how you get there. Lengthening through the legs. Start to bring the right knee in first and hug the knee in towards the body. And then from here, using the left hand on the right knee, sending your right arm out to the right side, either lengthening it out straight, or you could bring this right arm into cactus here if that feels good too. And then bringing the right knee over to the left, start to come into your supine twist. If it's more comfortable for you, you could stack both knees on top of each other and have both legs bent here. It's completely up to you what feels right in your body. And allow your head to drop over in the opposite direction to this bent leg. So the leg's coming over to the left, the gaze is coming over to the right. Allow your body to sink into the mat. Notice areas of tension starting to release and open up. Start to guide the right knee back into neutral. Lengthen the right leg down to the mat. Start to bring the left knee in towards the chest, towards the body, and hug it in first. Hugging it in. This is massaging the internal organs. This is really good for digestion. So hug it in first, taking a couple of breaths here. And then slowly keeping the right hand on the left knee, sending this left arm either lengthened out to the side or option to take cactus with the arm here. And then guide this left knee over to the right side, coming into your supine twist, allowing your gaze to come over to the left. Notice what you notice. Notice what's alive for you today, physically, mentally, emotionally. There is nothing to do. There is nowhere to be. Start to float this left knee back to neutral now. And our last pose of the class, you've got two different options here. You could either come into your legs up the wall pose, so this is sending your legs up to the sky. So you could either, for example, be taking that here on your mat. You could have a block under your hips as you take it here, for example. You could have cushion under your hips, anything that you need to support you, or if you've got a wall to bring your legs up against, then take that now. Or you've got the option to come into a restorative bridge. I'm going to take the restorative bridge today. If you're not feeling for either of these, then start to come into your Shavasana, or you could take a child's pose. So really intuitively listening to what your body needs today as you're winding down and taking the option that works. If you're coming into your restorative bridge, bring your pelvis up and into the body first. Engage the core, engage the abdominals as you lift your hips away from the mat. Keep the head and the neck aligned, keep the chin tucked into the chest. So try not to look around the room here. And then placing the block under your sacrum. So under this area, the lower spine, either on the high setting or the low setting, whichever feels most comfortable, most restorative for you. And then you can release the arms. Once you've found your restorative position, closing off the eyes and taking a steady gaze and breathing here. Notice any sensations in the body. Perhaps you can feel your ribcage expand with the breath. So really connecting to our parasympathetic nervous system here. The nervous system, the part of our nervous system where the rest takes place. This part of our system really is about restoring balance in the body. So quite often it works to lower the heart rate, lowers the blood pressure, and is the part where the healing takes place. So when we're consciously breathing, aware of our breath, aware of our body, our thoughts, being in the present moment, this can help us to connect to this part of our rest and digest system. Quite often we're spending quite a bit of time in our busy day-to-day lives in the sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight or flight mode. This is the mode where we react, where we're very reactive and impulsive. This is our doing mode, where we're doing. We're releasing things like adrenaline. Sometimes the stress hormone is released whilst we're in this system. This isn't something that we're always aware of, and it's okay. There's no right or wrong, but just observing, maybe thinking about which parts of your life where you're reacting from that part of your body, from that part of you, and learning how to bring yourself back. You can use the breath to do this. The breath can be used as an anchor to ground you and bring you back to parasympathetic nervous system again. To recenter, to rebalance, to respond rather than react. This is something that everybody can access. And starting to come out of the pose that you went for. So if you were in your restorative bridge, carefully remove the block and then with control, slowly lowering the hips down to the mat. You're in legs up the wall pose, starting to come out of this now, releasing the legs and making your way into a Shavasana position. So either lengthening the legs and coming into a lying position on the mat, or perhaps you're having the legs bend in, coming into reconstructive rest mode. Taking a blanket here, any layers that feel good to you. Maybe even dimming the lights or closing off, switching off the lights here. Creating a sacred space, making this into a ritual. Sometimes the weight of a blanket, so even if you don't necessarily feel that you need it for the warmth, sometimes the weight of the blanket, again, can have a really relaxing and supportive effect on the body, on the nervous system, and can help to come into your resting mode. So just an option to perhaps try. And trying to fully surrender your weight to the ground, to the floor beneath you now. Any last part of you that's trying to hold on, resisting, allow that part of you to really let go. Give it permission to let go. Starting to slowly come back into the physical body. Or if you're doing this right before bed, then take yourself to bed and allow yourself to drift off to sleep. If you are ready to come out of the practice completely, start to take some movement through your feet, your hands, any gentle movement in the body that feels good for you. And then rolling over to one side and pausing there for a moment, keeping the eyes closed if you can. Allowing yourself to be heavy. And then from here, when you're ready, making your way up to a comfortable seated position on your mat, keeping the eyes closed if you can. Take a moment here to ground. Coming into a neutral spine. And I want you to, for a moment, come back to the breath, a full yogic breath, equal breathing. So maybe thinking about inhaling for 4, exhaling for 4, or maybe a count of 6, whatever works for you. As always, this is just an option. You can work with your natural breath if you prefer. Taking a few breaths here, working with that. Opening the eyes when you're ready, taking a steady gaze to the ground in front of you. Coming back into the physical body. Thank you so much for being here and practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed that flow and that you are feeling nice and relaxed, possibly a little bit sleepy. Possibly you've even drifted off. Do feedback to me and let me know how you found it. And as always, for more kind of videos like this, please subscribe to my channel or definitely check out my membership in the link below, where there's options for live Zoom classes and various different classes there as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.